All right, boys and girls, so now that we have completed our notes on prime and composite and we know exactly what they are and the difference between the two, I'd like you to take your factor book and I want us to make sure that we have everything labeled. So we're going to go ahead and finish this book out today, and this book is going to be very helpful not only with helping us simplify fractions, but being able to determine if a number is prime or composite. So inside your book, we started with the number 10, and when we started with the number 10, we said it was even, but now we can go back and we can label this composite. So I'm going to go ahead and write the word composite right underneath the word 10, or even. I'm going to turn the page. We know that the number 11 has two factors, so that's going to fall into our category of prime. Two factors, one in itself. Moving on over to the number 12, we have lots of factors, so again, we're going to label this one composite. Flipping on over to the number 13, we have two factors, one in itself, so we have the number prime. Moving on over to the number 14, more than two factors, so we're going to call this composite. Moving on over to the number 15, we're going to call this composite. So now I'm just going to start using the letter C for composite. Number 16, more than two factors, again, composite. And number 17, only one set of factors, so we're going to label that P for prime. And I forgot to add that this was odd, so I'm going to go back and add that real quick. Moving on over to the number 18, lots of factors, so again, composite. Moving on over to the number 19, only two factors, so that one is going to be prime. Flipping on over to the number 20, so many factors, again we are composite. Moving on over to the number 21, so many boys and girls want to think that this number is prime, but remember we have more than just two factors for the number 21, so this one is composite. 22 is even, so we know that it is composite and it has multiple factors. 23, only two factors, so we know that this one is prime. 24, again it's even, so it's composite, but it has tons of factors. The number 25 is odd, but it has more than just two factors, so we're going to label it composite also. It's also a multiple of 5. Looking at the number 27, again even, we know it's composite and it has multiple factors. The number 27 has many factors too. It is also composite. The number 28 is even, again, composite. The number 29, only two factors, so we know this one is going to be prime. The number 30 is even, so it's composite. The number 31 is prime. Only two factors, 1 and 31. The number 32 has many factors and it's even, so it's composite. The number 33 has more than two factors. It is also composite. The number 34 has more than 2 factors. It is composite. The number 35 has more than 2 factors. It is also composite. The number 37, wow, so many factors, composite. And it's even. Number 37, oh, only 2 factors, 1 and 37, so it's going to be prime. Number 38 is even, so we know it's composite because it's divisible by the number 2. Looking at the number 39, it is a multiple of 3, so it is composite. The number 40 is composite because it is even and it has many factors. The number 41 is prime. Only 2 factors, 1 and 41. Number 42 is an even number with many factors, so we're going to label it composite. The number 43 only has 2 factors, 1 and 43, so we're going to label it prime. The number 44 is even, so we know it's composite and it has several factors. The number 45 has several factors also, and we're going to label it composite. The number 46 is even, so we know it's composite. And that gets us to the number 47. So we're going to go ahead and quickly make the rest of our factor pairs until we run out of space. So when we have the number 47 and we're thinking about factors of 47, there are only 2 factors for the number 47. First of all, we know it's odd. So we know that 2 is not a factor, 4 is not a factor, and 8 is not a factor. We know that the sum of the digits, 4 plus 7 is 11, and that's not a multiple of 3. So we know 3, 6, and 9 are out. And we know that this is not a multiple of 7. So our only factors for the number 47 are 1 and 47, which make this number prime. Moving on to the number 48. The number 48 has many factors. Not only is the number 48 even, but when I think about the number 48, there are lots of factors that will give me the number 48. So I can start with 1 and 48. I can then move to the number 2 because we know it's even and it can be cut in half by the number 24. I know that it is a multiple of 3 because we can say 3 times 16 will give us 48. We also know that 4 groups of 12 will give us 48. And finally, we know that 6 and 8 will give us 48. So we have lots of factors here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 12, 16, 24, and 48. So that makes this number composite. Moving on to the next number, which is 49. Lots of boys and girls think and are mistaken that the number 49 is a composite number. I mean a prime number, but it is actually composite because the only way to make 49 is 1, and the only ways to make 49 are 1 and 49. And then, of course, we have our 7 times 7. So boys and girls, please don't be mistaken that this number is an odd number, but it is also a composite number because it has more than 2 factors. The number 50 is next in the lineup. The number 50 is next in the lineup. And so our factors for 50 are 1 and 50. It's a multiple of 10, so we can say, and it is an even number, so it's going to have many factors. I can think of 2 groups of 25 that will give me 50. It isn't a multiple of 3 because 5 plus 0 is 5, and that's not a multiple of 3. So if we know 3 doesn't work, we know 6 does not work, and we also know the number 9 is not going to work. So when I think about the number 4 is not going to work either because 4 just worked with the number 48, and there's not a difference of 4 between 48 and 50. So now I have to think about the number 5, and we know that we can partner the number 5 with the number 10. And that's going to be it for the number 50. There are only 6 factors. 1, 2, 5, 10, 25, and 50, which makes this number composite. I'm going to put 2 more in my book. Well, actually, I'm just going to put 1 more. I'm going to put the number 51. Many people think that 51 is a prime number, and it actually is not. It is a composite number because it has a sneaky fact. So of course we know 51 times 1 is going to give us 51. But there's a sneaky fact here, and it's a multiple of 3 because 5 plus 1 is 6, and 6 is a multiple of 3. So we have to think about what can we multiply 3 by to get 51, and that number is 17. And so often boys and girls are not familiar with the number 17 times 3, and so they end up mistaking the number 51 for prime, when the number 51 is actually a composite number. So not only is it odd, but it is composite. On the back of your book, and if you want to keep going on, you may have a few pages left, but on the back of your book, we need to go ahead and fill in any numbers between the number 1 and the number 10. And so we have the number 2 here that we've already put in our journal that we said is a prime number. We do not have the number 3 in here, so I'm going to go ahead and put our factors for 3, which are 1 and 3. Those are the only ones, and that's going to be prime as well. We've already put the number 4 in here because 1 and 4 will give us 4, and 2 times 2 will give us 4. So I'm going to label that one composite. Then we have the number 5. The factors for 5 are 1 and 5. So that makes this prime. We have the number 6, and the factors for 6 are pretty easy. 1 and 6, and 2 and 3. So that makes this composite. And that just leaves us, boys and girls, putting the number 7 and 8 in our journal. So if we look at the number 7, our factors for 7 are 1 and 7, and so that again is a prime number. And the number 8, the factors for 8 are 1 and 8, and 2 and 4. So 8 is a composite number. And of course, I already have the number 9. Make sure that if you did not get the number 9 in there, you have it, and it is also composite. All right. boys and girls, I hope that having these numbers handy in your factor book will help you with not only distinguishing between the numbers prime and composite, but also being able to simplify fractions quickly.